The Enchanted Tea Garden by Sarah Beth Durst. Is it a sequel that lives up to the hype? Let's find out. Roll the intro. Hello friends, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. My name is Elise, and this is my mystical, spooky bookshelf. And today, like I said, I have another cozy fantasy. It is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. And it is following The Spell Shop, which was the best book of 2024 last year for myself. And I ask the question, does it live up to the hype? Spoiler, yes it does. This book was so good. Excuse me, itching myself. Yes, this book was amazing. I gave it 5 stars. I don't think it's going to be my favorite book of 2025. That book is So Thrilled for You. That's my favorite book so far. But it's definitely gonna make my top 10 for sure. And the characters in this book are as follows, and lucky for you guys, I took notes. I took lots of notes. I found this notebook at McKay's, so I'm taking notes when I read now. But we have Terelu, who is a lavender-skinned girl. She describes herself as like a cute, curvy-looking chipmunk type. Like, that's how she describes herself. She says she looks like a chipmunk, which I thought was funny. And I'm definitely going to make a custom doll of her for sure, but I don't know who I'm going to use. I will probably use Lavender Lynn from from Shadow High, because she has purple skin. But yeah, so she is very extroverted. She's also very lonely, and that's kind of the main theme of this book. And it's one that I think really hits close to home for a lot of people, probably, is being lonely. And it's part of what makes this book so poignant and emotional, even though it's really cozy and cute at the same time. It really struck a chord with me, like how Terelu just really wants to find friendship. And it made me think, like, wow. It made me, like, reflect on myself as well. Like, I don't really have that many friends. I really don't. And sometimes it doesn't bother me. Most of the time it doesn't bother me. I will say I have one best friend, but we don't live very close to one another anymore. So it's hard to keep in touch. And I definitely understand Terelu and how she feels lonely. And most of the time it doesn't bother me. But sometimes it does bother me. And reading this book, it made me realize why it bothers me. Because we all want someone, and I mean, I have my husband. That's definitely someone who makes me feel less lonely. But I will say, it would be nice to have some more female friends. Definitely. But that's one of the things that Sarah Beth Durst touches on really beautifully, is how people want to connect with other people. So that's Terelu's problem, is she's lonely. And I noticed that she looks down on herself. She's very anxious. And I've noticed a lot of characters who are anxious are really hard on themselves. And myself included in that, because I am an anxious person and I am very hard on myself. I don't know if it's a character trait of being anxious or what, but a lot of characters who are anxious are also really hard on themselves. And a lot of people who are anxious are also really hard on themselves. So it's interesting. And she needs help realizing how awesome she is, because Terelu is like literally the best. but she thinks she's literally the worst. And I don't understand why, because she's awesome. And there's another character that we meet. His name is Yarrow. He is a gold-skinned man with long black hair and green eyes. He kind of reminds me of a dragon or a bear. That's what Tara Lou says. He reminds her of a bear. But the way his skin is described, he reminds me of a dragon, which I thought was interesting. And I don't know what that noise was just now, so I'm sorry if that was a jump scare, because that was a jump scare for me. I think I have a cup sitting over there that has some ice in it. Maybe the ice is shifting. But yeah, so I'm sorry, that scared me. But so he's introverted. He's very different from Tara Lou. And Tara Lou is someone who likes to talk a lot, blah, 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 blah. She talks a lot. Like, she talks a lot. But she's so cute. That doesn't really bother me. But Yarrow is someone who's very quiet. He's very introverted. And he comes from a really big, boisterous family, which I thought was interesting. It's interesting how people, they can come from something that's so big and lively, and yet they are introverted. And they're different from their family. And I feel like I'm the same way. I come from a big family. Like, my mom's family is super big. And I have a lot of cousins and whatnot. But I'm like the quietest out of everyone. So it's just interesting how that works. But yeah, he has past family trauma as well that we also learn as we go through the story of him and Tara Lou getting to know each other. And this trope, if I had to describe it, it would be from strangers to friends to lovers. That's the trope. And it's a really good trope. I enjoy it. I enjoy how Tara Lou and Yarrow get to know each other and they become friends. And then they become more than friends. And it's really cute. And it's very sweet. And there's no spice. No spice at all. Sarah Beth Durst is very good about no spice. And I'm very thankful for it, because with everything on Instagram and Book Talk, there's way too much spice in this world. It needs to calm down, because it's not romance. It's just icky, and I don't want to read about it. But yeah, so this is a clean romance for those interested. And he has a love language that is very different from Tara Lou. So I think Tara Lou's love language in this story seems to be like interacting with people or wanting to take care of them. And his love language is he loves talking to plants, or he loves talking about plants. And he also loves taking care of people. He's quiet, but he takes care of Tara Lou. And she is very grateful to him. So the thing that's interesting about Tara Lou that I probably should have opened with to begin with is that she is the person who made Kaz in Spell Shop. So it's not a true sequel. You don't need to read the Spell Shop in order to read the Enchanted Garden. You can read the Enchanted Garden and not know anything about the Spell Shop and be perfectly fine. But the one important thing is that Tara Lou was the one who created Kaz. And this is her story. So she goes from turning into a statue because she made Kaz illegally, and then Yarrow uses magic to bring her back, basically. So that's Tara Lou's story, is she comes back from being a statue. She was a statue for like 6 years. So she's kind of got a lot of pent-up trauma and PTSD regarding that, because she could like hear stuff, but she couldn't do anything. And it just was really interesting hearing her thoughts on like what she missed in the world and how she's coming to terms with being okay that she missed out on certain things. And it's also really interesting because in the end it's revealed that the town of or the kingdom, I guess, of Elysium, all of their laws were like abolished, I guess. So now anybody can do magic and it's not illegal anymore. So I thought that was really cool. And it's really interesting how Tara Lou finds out about it too, because she's so worried about doing magic still, which is understandable because she got turned into a statue for doing it. And she doesn't want to get turned into a statue again. But, yeah, so it's really nice to see her, like, get back to herself and realize that she isn't going to get in trouble if she does something like that again. And I just really loved the story and how we got Terelu and Yero's relationship and how we get to know them and they get to know each other slowly. And they don't really fall in love necessarily until like towards the very end of the book, which I also thought was good. Sorry, I don't know what happened. My phone kind of froze while I was talking about that. So anyway, I watched a little bit of what I was talking about. I really enjoyed the slow burn between Terelu and Yero. Their relationship was very cute, and I liked how they took care of one another. That was very nice. And another thing about Yero that I liked is that he's super quiet, but once he talks about something he loves, he really talks a lot. And I could feel myself relating to both him and Terelu at certain points in the book. So that was also interesting. And I love it when I can relate to both characters for different reasons. I think that's really cool. And I wrote this down, one of my favorite quotes from Terelu is, "A relationship is built around two people reaching out of their comfort zones to connect with one another." And that is really the main thesis statement of this whole book, is Yero reaching out to Terelu to free her from being a statue, and then Terelu reaching back out to him to be his friend, and then eventually be his girlfriend. And they really help each other a lot with their trauma. Like Terelu helps Yero navigate his family because his family comes to visit him and her subsequently because they need help on this island. And another thing about this book that I thought was really cool is that it takes place during winter time. So it is a cozy winter fantasy, not necessarily for fall, but you could read it during fall or during summer. You can read it whenever you want. But the vibes are very wintry and somewhat summery because the greenhouses are enchanted to always be the climate that the plants need to thrive. So that was kind of cool too. And one of the biggest conflicts in this book was trying to save the greenhouses because some of them were failing, and Yero and Terelu didn't really know why. So it was interesting going on that journey with them and learning why the greenhouses are failing. And they're failing because the wizard, the warlock who used to live there was like going insane, and he didn't trust anybody, and his magic was failing, and he was like encrypting his magic basically so that nobody could fix the greenhouses, I guess. And it was really interesting going through his character too. Unfortunately, in my note taking, I didn't write down that character's name. But there were a lot of characters in this book, so it was kind of hard for me to keep track of who they are, who they were, what they were doing, and what their part in the story was. So that's one caveat to this book, is if you don't like a lot of different side characters, this one might not be for you because it's kind of confusing. Because one of the main conflicts is while fixing the greenhouses, they have to reawaken all these plants who can talk and are sentient, and all of them have names, and all of them have different pronouns. And it's just really confusing. Some of them are girls, some of them are boys, some of them say they're non-binary, but they're plants. So aren't all of them essentially non-binary in a way? I don't know. I didn't think plants could have genders, but here we are. They do in this enchanted realm, which is fine. I just think it's kind of silly. But that's besides the point. So yeah, all of them have names, and I don't remember any of their names at this point because I read it a while ago. But there is one who is kind of the main plant character, and I didn't like her very much. Her name is Lottie. She's a rose. I don't know if this is unpopular or not, but I thought she was annoying. And I really couldn't get on board with her, like, the whole story. Like, anytime she talked, I was just like, can you shut up already? Because I don't like you. She sort of grew on me a little bit, I guess, towards the end. But it wasn't really strong. I wasn't feeling Lottie. I didn't like her. And I didn't write very many notes down about her. So, yeah, I don't know. I just, if you like self-centered-esque type characters, or like characters who are loud-ish, you might like her. She's just very self-centered in my opinion, and I just really didn't enjoy that aspect of her character. But yeah, she's like the main plant in the book. And that's really the main plant that is like the driving force of this story. But in the end, they get the magic back to the way it's supposed to be, so that was good. And yeah, Yarrow and Terelu kind of live on the island at the end as a couple. And Yarrow gets back to talking with his family, because the main conflict for Yarrow was that he had this trauma in his past from his family that nobody really recognized as trauma. So I thought that was kind of sad for him. And he didn't really want to talk to his family because they all kind of left him on this island. And they didn't really explain why. And none of them really talked to one another. But Terelu helped Yarrow work through his trauma. And he helped Terelu work through her trauma too, which I thought was really cute. And it just was good to see them both working through their own troubles together. And I really liked their relationship. There's not really much else I can say on this book. I just really enjoyed the vibes. I enjoyed the winter-esque parts of it. And the one thing I love about Sarah Beth Durst is that she's really good at describing food. That's one thing I really like about her books too. Like, there's a lot of food descriptions in this book. It's gonna make you want soup. I'm gonna say that because I really wanted some soup after reading this. And there was another note I made. Oh yeah, Keela and Kaz, if you did read The Spell Shop, they do make an appearance in this book, which I love it when previous characters make a cameo because I think that's super cool. But they are mentioned at the end, and they wrote a spell book together, so I thought that was so cute because they had talked about it at the end of the first book, so it was really cool to see that come to fruition. But yeah, so this was a really good sequel, and I know Sarah Beth Durst is coming out with a third book. I think it's YA, so it's not adult, it's more young adult, so it might be a little more immature, who knows. But I'm looking forward to that too. I'm looking forward to anything Sarah Beth Durst puts out into the world at this point, honestly, because she's definitely one of my favorite authors now. And I listened to the audiobook of this, if I didn't say, and it was performed by Caitlin Davies, who also performed the first book. And Caitlin Davies is a star. She was really good at reading everyone, including all these weird plant characters. Like, girl has talent. She literally is amazing, and I think you should totally listen to the audiobook. I have not bought the physical copy yet. I am waiting to find it at McKay's or Goodwill, but I highly doubt it's going to go there anytime soon. But hopefully it will, because I really don't want to spend like $25, $30 on a book. That's not my vibe. Definitely not my style. But yeah, so definitely a good sequel. 5 stars in my opinion. And thank you for watching my video. Thank you for your comments and your support. And if you liked this, please give it a like and consider subscribing. But thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, friends.